Hey everybody, welcome back to the Caves Cast podcast. It's Jeremy.
And I'm Ryan.
Not a lot of news again that I could really find. I mean, I'm not really doing a lot of digging, just doing some surface level stuff.
Yeah.
They announced that uh Null is coming back today. Woohoo! For Venom 250, because then the series, like all new Venom, is gonna continue, but it will be re like titled and renumbered back to legacy numbering, and it'll be 250, and then moving on, just Venom after that. Which, all right, cool, whatever.
So is this going to be bringing like Venom with Eddie Brock again and then Null?
We don't know. It kind of seems to indicate that Null will be facing off against Mary Jane Venom,
It's
but it
like, wouldn't
also
he
like,
go after the King in Black? Like,
huh?
wouldn't he go after like Eddie, who's the King in Black?
Oh,
Or,
Eddie's not anymore though. That's the thing.
oh,
Like things are really like muddy with what the
okay.
King Black is right now because of Venom War and all that. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I really don't care for Null all that much these days. Uh, I think he was fine when the first time around, but then like they kept, and the other thing too is like, yes, he's technically been dead for like 5 years, but also we've seen him multiple times since then, like in movies and other books, and he's just dying and dying and dying and not really doing a whole lot. So if I
He,
keep seeing him, he's not really gone. Like it's like the Batman Who Laughs. Like I still
that's
keep seeing
literally
him,
what I was about to say. I was like, he's the Batman who laughs of Marvel. Like
which
he's,
is okay, cool. Like that's he made his like stamp on the industry, but also like I just get out of here, bro. I just don't care anymore. I
Mhm.
mean, here's the thing: is I'm game for whatever Ewing does. I will say though, like I'm interested to see if Null will be interacting with the eventuality or anything like that that Ewing has established at that level, because technically Null denied all of that stuff. Like when he was offered the same questions from the eventuality, he just said like no, like he just
Right. That's why
I'm
they said he was like kind of King in Black. Like he didn't
yeah,
do.
like he was just lazy, he didn't do anything with it. Like he had a job and the Celestials came to offer him a job, but he thought they were coming to like encroach on his void. So I think that'll be cool at least if they touch on that, but I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. I'm not really putting a whole lot of
I don't know.
weight.
The more I like get like the more I get away from that story, the more like I realize I just don't really care for it.
It was cool in the pocket that it came out in.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I'm feeling like this with a lot of Donny Cates books lately, where it's like the
Dude,
longer I get
Silver
away from
Surfer
it.
Black still goes hard, bro. I
Yeah.
love Silver Surfer Black so much. Also, like, what else? There's a few like his Thanos is pretty good.
Yeah, I did like that, like the Cosmic Ghost Rider stuff
Yeah,
and
that's pretty good. Like his run was decent. Yeah, I mean he's got some good stuff still. We'll see if he's coming back or not. We'll see.
like his store is very hit or miss for me.
He's just like the '90s rule of cool guy, I think, and
Yeah.
it tends to land with a lot of people, so they just keep rolling with it, which is fine. Hey, like it
I feel
worked.
like Joshua Williamson does that better. He's like the 90s dude.
He pays like homage to like the '90s stuff, that like the not edgy '90s stuff. You know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah.
like that's where he excels at. Whereas like Donny Cates is like Venom and Spawn and like
Yeah, it's like that dark 90s image thing,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
Like that's kind of the era that he was in. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
all right, let's talk about. We want to do first Doom,
Doom was crazy, yeah.
dude. And I read that issue in like 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah, it was
It
pretty
was
funny because
quick,
again, like the parallels to like what's happening today is really funny in this. Like,
dude. Okay, so like I just have to say, like it does such a great job of piggybacking up the end of last issue, well, that entire issue, because the whole issue is basically just him monologuing about how dude Dormammu can't beat him, and then he just pulls this like ass pull of a move with bringing everybody back from this pocket dimension. And then
yeah.
the whole issue is just him like basically just continuing that same monologue through this whole issue.
Yeah.
And then it's sick, dude, because he
And
like
pretty much
orchestrates
it's
them
like
all.
getting to the point where it's like, yeah, we might not like Doom, but like how can you argue with the results?
I mean, yeah, like, and that's like and I feel like that's kind of the thing he's been trying to prove this whole time is like, you don't have to like me, but you can't deny the fact that I've kept this world safe, even though he was careless and let those defenses drop to begin with.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I mean?
how do you feel about like Thor being the one giving that speech?
I think it's like pretty fitting, honestly.
So do I. So do I. Because it's like, yeah, dude, I gotta keep like I'm a king of a whole
Well,
like
like,
that's how it
and
works.
he's
Like,
looking at it from that perspective too. Like,
yeah,
he's not looking at it from the perspective because he always says like, I don't abide by mortal laws. Like
yeah.
these
I'm
are
not
like, but
American. I'm not gonna
yeah. So like, you know what I mean? So like, it almost makes more sense for him to like be able to put that aside and recognize that the things that Doom is doing right now are really good for the planet. And for him, for there to be like one ruler, that's not like he is. Like, he literally is one.
yeah, over 10 realms. Like, so
Yes,
you
right,
know,
exactly. So it's like,
yeah, Ryan North really like to make that parallel connection was cool. Like, I would have never thought
that
to
was a
make
really
that
good
connection.
catch.
Yeah,
But I really like how it's how it like the whole like him saving the world from Dormammu was like set up because it's another like trick that he pulls out last second, like he did with the Sorcerer Supreme mantle when Steven gave it to him. You know what
right,
I mean? Like now it's like, oh well, yeah, he's gone forever. And Wanda's like, well, you can't do forever magic. It has to be tied to, he's like, yeah, an event. And the event is I'm the ruler of this planet. And if I'm not, you're screwed.
right, which is like more motivation to
To keep him
technically, yeah,
right. And it's just like feeds into the idea that like maybe he is really protecting us.
right. But it
But like,
also,
because he can spin it as like it's literally like my life is on the line
yeah,
here. But like,
yeah, it's like at what
it's
cost? And then it's like funny too because like everybody's like, kind of like being like, well, you can't argue with the results. And he's like, and then Tony's like, his last name is Doom. Like,
yes,
like his last name is
yeah,
literally Doom. How can you, it's literally like paralleling like when people try to make excuses for Trump, we're like, but literally he's doing, and it's like,
yes,
it's so funny that parallel, dude. Like that parallel that's been running this whole way, but it's so nuanced because he attacks that parallel in like a new way every issue.
yes.
It's really cool. Ryan North's making a lot of cool like connections, I feel like here. I'm really enjoying it.
It's what's funny because like one of those things where like it's really on the nose, but it's done like a pretty tasteful way.
Yeah,
I like it. I mean, we've been saying that since the first issue, you know what I mean? Or like even like before then, like in Fantastic Four when they started to lead up to that.
right.
So I don't know. I think it's well done, and I think
And
that
and how'd you feel about that last page reveal right here with Maria Hill?
we'll see.
Yeah,
I where is what issue four or is this five?
this is 5.
Five. We're about halfway through. I guess it makes sense to have
But
like a
it
bit of
does
like
say at the bottom here to be continued in 2 months.
right. So we have a break.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. I almost like the idea that there isn't just some big secret that Doom is hiding and he really is just hustling and
Well, I mean, right, because like everybody said, they were like, yeah, why would he make this happen or set this all up when he broke all of his bones and
yeah,
he broke every bone in his body basically
right.
during,
His body was destroyed.
yeah. So it's like,
So we'll see what happens. I'm curious, definitely, but we'll see.
yeah. And that's what's like so brilliant about Doom is like, it really could be either way. It could be planning either way. So
Solid stuff though, dude. I really, yeah,
yeah,
it's a good book.
Ryan
Um,
Reynolds is
what
great.
do you want to do? No. Ultimate Black Panther, or do you want to jump into Absolute?
Well, you just read Ultimate Black Panther, so let's talk about that. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
dude. I
That was
mean,
pretty cool.
another straightforward issue, I think, because this really just focused on
Okoye and
Oye and
Killmonger.
Eric like
Yeah.
talking and kind of like so it was like probably issue two, I think, where they had said that there was a mole or like some kind of traitor
Yeah.
among them. And I was totally set on not being Shuri this whole time. You know what I
Right.
mean? But then we get the reveal in this issue that after a long, really, really interesting conversation with Eric, Okoye is kind of the traitor and everything because she's
Yeah.
looking for like a power grab and she see it's interesting because like you almost like T'Challa has been kind of off the cuff, you know, since
Right.
everything has
And
been
they
happening.
haven't really been seeing eye to eye on a lot of.
Yeah, so like, and I think not that it makes it right for her to like be betraying the king and the kingdom and all this stuff, but it's
Yeah.
also like she sees somebody who has some kind of vision that T'Challa trusts, and so if he can trust him, why can't she? And if she has all these other ulterior motives, and he has a vision that T'Challa is like kind of dampening down, and not to mention she could easily play it from the angle of like, hey, look, he's away with your like with your partner.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like there's really a lot of manipulation that could go on here, and I think that might be what's going to happen. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be all Eric just being like, I'm like the new king.
It's gonna be like a Okoye controlling, like kind of if
Right.
influencing him behind,
It's gonna be subtle manipulation because he's gonna get like this attention. It's from the queen. It's kind of like an ego boost to him. You know,
right. But it's
I
also
think it's
like Storm's with T'Challa right now, so how she's gonna react to all of this.
yeah, like there's a lot of interesting dynamics. So it'll be cool to see like when they eventually meet up again, however many issues that is from now. But
Yeah, and
I would
it's
like
interesting too because Enon shows up and then
right
basically
because the Vodou Khan. Oh shoot, almost fell. The
uh,
Vodou Khan, my chair almost fell backwards. The Vodou Khan showed up and they kind of make a play too. Like they have some ulterior motive with vibranium and this child of light that they keep talking about, but that Okoye is not the one to bear the child. Do you think it's Storm? Like Storm and
I mean they
T'Challa?
do have a kid together in the comics, so I
That's what I'm
mean
saying. Like, do you think Storm and T'Challa are eventually going to like have a
I
kid?
I think so.
And that's going to be like this prophecy that they keep talking about?
Yeah.
Could be.
That's what I'm thinking, but I mean,
I mean, hey man, I'm open to be wrong or surprised in any way. So
yeah,
yeah, Inan shows up. I still don't know what her deal is. I don't know who she is supposed to be from the main universe or anybody or what.
me neither.
But it kind of just really ends after. Well, I mean, there's this kind of like side mission, you know, where you get to see the Machine Man, which is kind of a cool, it should like a cool version of that character, but he's like just a bunch of robot soldiers.
Yeah.
I almost thought it was like Deathlocks at first. But yeah, and then it's kind of like a prison break because these American or these machine men have taken over the American mining operation and are making all the workers mine for them.
Yeah.
So to kind of as a show of force and for Eric to prove himself to Okoye that he's like not just big talk, they go out and they bust it up and they save all these people and they stop the machine men and people are like looking to Eric now because he's making moves.
Yeah.
And then it kind of circles back after the Vodou Khan thing where he sits on the throne and it's like tell everybody you got a new king because this we'll see.
Right. Because it's like also like, can you be the he hasn't taken the flower or anything, so it's like
Yeah, yeah.
you can't can you claim the throne without that and
I
without
don't know.
taking out T'Challa, and so it's like I
We
don't know.
shall
I'm
see.
interested though because Okoye seems to be making a lot of plays that
She's sneaky, bro.
I think she's in league with the Maker and shit. Like with the
Maybe.
like
I could see that.
you know. And maybe it can get like Killmonger into trouble. It could.
I kind of hope that maybe it turns out that they kind of work things out, like Eric and T'Challa.
Yeah, because I kind of liked in this that they were like friends, like really cool in this.
Yeah,
They
I would like to
working.
see that continue. Like, I mean, you could if Okoye really is the problem, like just get rid of her, bro.
Yeah.
Don't let the
Which I
Brawn.
feel like Eric is smart and he probably will figure it out and be like, hey,
Right,
you
he'll catch wind of something. He'll be like, all right, like this is not what you said it was going to be.
yeah. Either
Uh,
way, this is like the best like non-talked about series. I love this series. For
I do.
17 issues so far, I'm like always excited to read the next issue to see where this is going, and
Hell yeah, dude. It's been
it's
a
awesome. It's awesome world building.
we're
Like
what 15 issues in now?
17.
17, bro. God
Yeah, this is issue 17.
dang, dude.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
So,
All right. You ready for Absolute Batman?
yeah, what'd you think about this one, dude?
Uh, it was actually kind of cool.
I
I
got total like Akira vibes.
yeah, dude. It was a total like literally an abomination, like they said it would be.
Well, I think it's also funny because I think that's also like an Easter egg
It, it
because
it's
of
it's a
what
it's a dig at the creator
at the creator of Bane, right? Because
because
he
he said
said
this is the
like,
version of him as an actual abomination. So then they
yeah,
named the arc that.
yeah. So I think that's a pretty funny like tongue in cheek. They'll go
Yeah,
like,
it
hey,
was.
let's just
Yeah,
name the fuck.
it was a good issue though. I'm glad your God is back on art.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I feel like he just like that. He nails like that feel, for apps. Like his feel for it is like the absolute Batman.
yeah, like I don't like when I think Absolute Batman, that's the only like put like thing I think of.
Yeah.
It's just your God is art.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was a cool issue because it kind of shows Bruce. working with everybody now. Like Alfred is there, you got his friends that are there. But okay.
Right. And also he's also looking for Waylon,
Right.
because Waylon was taken in
Right. And then he ends up because yeah, so the majority of that issue is basically just them kind of setting up the plan and then talking about while Bruce enters Arc M.
Arc M, and that was pretty crazy. That was like a crazy like video game like reveal to like see like a whole underground. It almost gave me like the City of Madness vibes where it's like the bet like the Gotham from below, whatever, like the
Oh
underground
yeah. I no,
city.
yeah. I told like that whole one page like full page shot
Yeah.
where it's like him just like perched up and it's like the whole like city on like that city underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a trip, dude.
Yeah.
That was
And
good
it's
shit.
crazy too because it seems like also in this like it shows like him looking at like the skeleton of like a man bat. So it makes me wonder if because Waylon, I imagine they're going to try to like turn
He's
it.
probably gonna turn into Killer Croc.
I think they're going to try to turn Batman into Man Bat.
I was just gonna say that because
Yeah,
like at the end of the issue, like when he fights Bane, really, oh, Bane just fucks him up, dude. It's not even a
yeah,
fight.
that
Like,
was
he just
brutal, and he was just like touching him. He was just
yeah,
like,
just hitting him as like nerves, like severing his nerves. He's like, dude.
yeah, he's like, now you can't use your arm. You can't use both your
And then
arms.
Bruce like, I could beat your ass with one leg. And
Yeah,
I'm like, damn, dude, all right.
and Batman's huge in this. I think they said
Yeah.
it's like 6'5". So
Yeah,
and
yeah. So
Bane
like
is
7
like
feet or something. And
holding
Bane's
him.
huge, bro.
Like Bane is looking like a
He just picks his
two-story.
ass and he's like, let's prepare you for surgery. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, so
turns
that's what
him
it makes
into
me
a bat.
wonder is if they're like trying to, and it makes me wonder if they're going to be trying to get everybody one by one and
Dude, that would be a trip.
like Penguin and like, yeah, all of them,
That would
like,
be crazy, dude.
and if that's how Harvey,
Gets like, yeah, gets his in his accident. Damn, dude. Okay, I so like there's this I have this thought. Um Snyder used to play around like and they even talk about how like this JK Industries or whatever
Mhm.
bought um like what used to be Arc M, whatever, like yeah, forever ago, right? And so I'm
Well,
curious
they're
if
basically saying there's like 20 around the world or
yeah,
something.
I'm curious if the Joker's been around for a really, really long time, like Snyder played around with back in his New 52 run.
Oh, like that, like the
He's
pale,
like the and
the
he's like,
pale
yeah,
man.
he's yes. And he's like this like ancient evil that just keeps like but in this, you don't really have to play it up as an ancient evil. Like you already have precedent with Lazarus, Ra's al Ghul, and he talked about having a son. Do you think it's possible that maybe him and Joker had a falling out and he's just like whatever wealth he's accrued is his own? Like you know what I mean?
Could
Like maybe
be.
he would have been because like then I think about a few issues ago where he's like getting youthful again after the little baby bodies are like on him.
Yeah, that was so
So
weird.
like that is it like a failed version or like a bootleg version of the Lazarus pit that Ra's uses or
Yeah,
like and what is the pit? Because if he's using like babies to like make himself young again,
yeah,
what's it what as the Lazarus pit?
that
Like
would be crazy. Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know. A lot of these things seem like they could be pretty like knitted really tight to kind of make the
Yeah.
universe feel like really, really lived in.
Yeah, because basically what we know is like Joker like was funding Black Mask and like he's funding like
Yeah.
pretty much everything. So
Bane too, because he literally
yeah,
had them send in Bane. I don't know, man. Wild hair thought, but maybe.
yeah, I could see that. But I think it's basically going to be a thing of like I think they're going to be getting everybody one by one, and maybe they'll be in different arcs. Maybe they'll
I
go
could
to
see that.
different
They'll
arcs.
do like shorter arcs maybe and just start tagging everybody
Yeah,
when they do those arcs. It'll be like shorter ones.
yeah. And what I thought was cool in this too was like what's really cool is Batman goes to Barbara in this. And
Yeah.
like, and did you notice like when she had like her police hat on, she had like the little like it looked like little like mask.
Domino mask?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a domino mask on, like the shadow of
Yeah.
it.
No, I saw that. I was like,
I
all
was
right.
like, that's pretty
I
cool.
was
I
like,
was
all
like,
right.
okay, yeah, like I was like, all right. Like I really like things like that. Did you end up catching the little Dick Grayson?
No, but did you catch the Slade?
There was a Slade? Okay, whoa.
I thought it was when Alfred's looking at the photo of like somebody that like
Oh
about
yeah,
to be his
that is
brother.
Slade. I did know
I
that.
was
I
it
did
has to
notice
be
that. I
right.
did
I was
notice
like,
that.
I
That
was like,
is
all right,
Slade, yeah.
cool. But
So
yeah,
like
I didn't
Alfred and
notice.
Slade have a pass in this, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he basically says like basically he hints that more or less this happened to him. Like they took one of his friends and experimented on him, and that's
What
basically
did they do to Slade then?
yeah,
If they took him,
right.
you know?
Because basically this whole time Alfred's like, you should have talked to him, you should have told us
Yeah,
because
because he's like
you've
kind
been
of
in this position.
narrating it as Bruce is going in, and he's like kind of regrets not saying what he should have said instead of
Because
saying,
he's like, I've been in there, I know what it's that what it's like. But he's also like, wanting Bruce to see it for himself, I guess,
yeah. I mean, and like here's the thing is, even if he would have said anything, what would it have done?
right.
Like it wasn't going to change Bruce's mind. Like he was still going to go in like head first and kick ass if he was
Well, of
able to.
course. I mean, and I do like that he is involving everybody, and it's like everybody being involved to like find out where
But
Wade.
his moment with Oz is interesting
Yeah,
because Oz is like, "What are you crazy?" And he's like, "Listen, man, you wanted in. Like this is what being in is like." And he's like, "I'm not saying it's a bad idea."
yeah. I'm just saying we're crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
not
like, "All
saying
right."
not
So
to do.
like, I like the banter between them. Like even now, like
Yeah,
it's they're kind of like more involved with everything.
yeah,
I really hope that that doesn't like. I hope that some of them are around for a little while before if anything happens to them.
right.
I like the dynamics there, I think, so far.
Yeah, same here. And it's like now it's like, oh, now like they're basically saying like Martha's gonna run for mayor, so that has me a
Yeah,
little
that
worried.
was the other thing too. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that, uh-oh,
Get on her back, dude.
uh-oh. Like that does, I don't know, it just, ugh.
Do we have another death in the family?
Yeah. And then not even that, we see like we see Selena and Bruce finally, like we see like
In
an
the
old,
apartment, yeah. And then
yeah,
Waylon's like, "Hey," he's like, "I got the fight," and he's like, "I
yeah,
really like the balance between like the really like ridiculous action stuff and the character moments because those are always like, and it's like, I don't know, it's almost like having fresh characters to do that with, but we're still familiar with a lot of them.
yeah.
It's cool. It's cool to get to new, like really know these versions of the rogues that aren't just like one. Like sometimes I feel like the rogues are really one note. You know what I mean?
I love that Bruce is like brothers with all of them actually.
Yeah, it's great. I think it adds a new element to their relationship, and I think it like when things do go down, if they go down,
Yeah,
it's gonna really shine like a new light on those conflicts.
yeah. And it's just like I don't know. I'm really excited. This is like going crazy places.
Yeah,
It gets me. It's at a point where it's where it should be, where it's like Bane looks like this impossible wall,
and he like juices out.
dude. Yeah, and it's he can.
He's all like, because Bruce is like, he's like, yeah, say like I can beat your ass with one leg, you juiced up, and he's like, oh, friend.
Yeah, I haven't even
But
used this yet.
yeah,
So
it's like I haven't even juiced up yet,
yeah,
and then he does it, and I'm like, oh God.
and he's like, yeah, he's like a two-story building, bro. He's like, and he's just like, ragdoll. Like,
Straight up, dude. Oh, it was good though. I liked it.
yeah, yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with this and see what they'll do. I'm really excited for the whole. I'm gonna be real, like for a while there, I really didn't care about this whole Arkham side plot thing, and now that we're here, I'm like, okay, this
Yeah,
I'm
I
interested
I
now.
think it's just because we've been hearing about it for so long. Like we've been hearing
I
about
think
Bane
I
for
think
like
once Waylon
like
got
5 months,
captured,
dude.
I think once Waylon was there, I was like, okay, now I care. Like,
Yeah,
Waylon's there
to
now.
kind of move things like move some pieces in a new way.
Yeah.
I
But
like. Yeah, I agree. Dark Patterns, dude.
dude, this is still the best. It's still just so good. I know
It's
this is
so damn
taken on.
good, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I live. It's just great. I love it.
And I love like the idea of this, like the theme of this is like pareidolia, basically, where pareidolia, where
Right,
basically
finding
you're
patterns where there
seeing
aren't any.
patterns where they shouldn't be, and that's like such a brilliant thing that I'm surprised they haven't used for Batman yet because he's all about recognizing patterns. So if he starts becoming
Obsessed with it.
like basically where he's questioning
Yeah.
all the time, like his the pattern
I
recognition.
really like that monologue in the beginning too, where he talks about the fires of Gotham and how like
Yeah,
it's like he shouldn't be able to recognize that this is happening, but now that he can, he really can't stop thinking about it, and he's had enough of it, so he needs to go out and do something about it. Like even though he's literally beat to hell from the last two cases he's worked on,
Right.
So
Which
I like,
which are like connected too, because it's like,
yeah,
another building's on fire, which is like, really to
yeah.
another.
I really like the continuity there because it seems like it's just happening one after the other.
Yeah.
Because he looks like he even like in the first 2 pages, like he's tore up, man. He's like icing his knuckles. He's putting bandages on. He looks worn down.
Yeah.
So I like the continuity there with that because it makes it seem like it's not just four random cases that's gone over like the course of that second year or whatever of Batman's
Yeah.
life, but also it's like it's kind of just one after the other. And I'd imagine as this arc unfolds and we get into the last one, there'll probably be a few more pieces that are going to connect and maybe prop things up a little bit more.
Right. Because like basically in this, like we're finding out that like I just love how dark this is getting.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how dark this is, but like, he goes through like he's like basically like I need guidance. Like I need to go like, I need to basically he goes to this like dude more or less, and he's like, I'm eating a rat. And he's like, but I have an astrophysics degree. And he's like, the fire, what's the fastest route through? And he basically like, goes into this whole thing, and he's like, like cosmology says that we're in a black hole and you're in a black hole now. Like,
Right, because he's in some part of Gotham that's been like really run down for a long time, and they
yeah,
like made like a half-ass effort to rebuild it, and they kind of fell on the people living there to do that.
yeah,
So it's become such like a maze,
yeah,
and it goes along with the themes of the whole book and like in general, like you
yeah,
had Leaden Towers, where like there was a supernatural element that kind of it being Scarface, and it like kept people there, and like it was a bit of a maze once you got inside. It was
yeah,
disorienting, and this is kind of like follows with that theme where
yeah,
Batman's found himself in this like in a literal black hole. Like he can't find his way out, and the people that are there like are there for a reason. Like they're there because they don't have the money, they don't have the resources, so they're just stuck there.
right.
And he obviously can't find help from people that are also stuck, like literally being dragged to the center, like that dude said.
Hmm.
So
And
Batman ends up
basically,
being
he ends up
overcome.
going to a laundromat, like a
Yeah,
laundry place inside of there, and finds like a dead body and like a washing machine, more or less.
yeah, dude, and it's like it was burnt, and
It's
then
like burnt, yeah, and more or less they talk about it like how it looks like he's like in a boxing pose, and it's because of like burns his tendons, and when you burn your
yeah,
tendons
when you
like that,
everything
like
shrinks and like it's really tight.
I'm like, that's so.
It was, yeah, it
Dan
was,
Waters is killing this, bro. Like
is
he's really killing this. Like I really hope after Fraction, it's gonna be him. At this,
dude. Are you still not reading his Nightwing yet?
I'm not. No, I want to get
Dude,
the trade when trades.
fire, bro. So
Yeah,
good. Dexter Soy does some killer art in that book too. But
yeah,
yeah, Ian Waters is doing some work in that series, dude.
yeah. I mean, I hope I think they're setting him up to do Batman next. I'm calling it. I think they're setting him up to do Batman next
I would
after
read
Fraction,
Batman.
at least.
I would read Batman if he was on it.
Yeah, this is great. And
Uh,
please, if it was Hayden Sherman with him the whole
oh, dude,
that'd
get
be
the hell out of here.
yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, but more or
Uh,
less like they're like the guy's just basically like I'm gonna need to spend a lot more time with this body more or less to figure it out.
yeah,
And it's just crazy because it's like Batman is like we always usually see him like run down like early in the mornings, but he's like bandaged up after like these 7 issues of this story. He's just like
yeah. I I also really like Alfred's role in this series because he's just not in it a lot,
yeah,
but he always provides like a bit of levity to it. Like he's always got like a cheerful attitude,
yeah.
and he's really just kind of giving Bruce a hard time
And I
because
like it too that basically he like is drinking a water and he lifts it and there's like a ring of condensation around on the table and he's like, no, pareidolia. He's like, I'm seeing patterns that aren't there and it's basically like showing that like, these like 3 cases are really taking its toll on Pete, like Bruce. Yeah, I was about to say Peter, on Bruce at this point. And that's what's like really cool about it is like I feel like that's the best is when like Batman's like psychologically like
like stretched thin.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like like
Well,
he's
like, and like, here's the thing: is like with Batman, I feel like when you put him in those situations where like his psyche or like his like wherewithal is really not there,
yeah.
you can you it's and I keep saying this, but you could really cross like blur those lines for like supernatural stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so fitting because you don't really have to go there and do that stuff. It can just appear as if that's what it is.
It's just trauma. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, exactly. Like you do like Scarecrow. Like, of course that like he's seeing like some of that weird supernatural stuff, but it's not real.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And to it's not impossible for him to maybe suffer similar effects after being up for days and doing all this stuff and being really stretched thin.
yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I think the whole vibe and like the other consistent theme I've noticed is that anytime he's asked for help from the people there, they've always like basically just said no, or they're silent, or they turn their back on him. So he's like always on his own. And at
Yeah,
this point, he like expects it. He's like, all right, well, the game's afoot. Like it's
yeah.
time to do it.
And it's basically because he's looking for the Red Hood gang, and he
Yeah,
basically like everybody's just like looking at him like, nope. Like, and then he's like,
right.
all right, I know what the deal is at this point.
Yeah,
7 issues in.
nope, exactly. I think it's the best Batman book, dude, right now,
It's great. It's
no doubt.
fantastic. Hayden Sherman's killing it. You know, I want these two to do a Batman run.
It'd be
Like,
so sick, dude.
yeah, like, yeah, that'd be dope. But
What else we got? Turtles.
that's Turtles, man. Because it's always fun, like you your opinion on it, because I know you're not a Turtles guy,
Yeah.
but I feel like Jason Aaron's doing a really good job so far with all the.
Mm.
A lot of people are complaining that it's too slow. I don't think so. I think it's very much like
No, I don't
character
know. Like it seems
relationship
to be
building.
bouncing back and forth between the brothers, which I think works because when you have four characters to juggle, you can't always do an issue with all four of them.
Yeah,
Like at least like being the narrator, like you can do big issues where it's like them fighting and you kind of playing it back and forth, like throwing the dialogue back and forth between them or the narration between them. But like character focused issues like this are good, I think.
yeah,
It's all about Mikey again.
pretty much. Yeah, it's all about Mikey. I mean, Raph still shows up and they still bicker.
Yeah, but it's all told from like Mikey's perspective, like the
Yeah,
narration and like the point of view of the story is like all like little because he's been the one that's kind of the most reluctant to believe that this dead rat is Splinter, right?
right. That they're hearing Splinter's voice from
Right. And so like when you see like what was it last issue or the issue before where we saw Leo break down and finally like hear it. And
yeah,
then in this you also hear Raph do it.
Raph does
And then
it.
by the end of this issue it's Mikey, but also like I don't know, and I think that's why focusing on Mikey works because you kind of see it from the person who's furthest away from all that is the last one to finally fall into it, but he sees all of his brothers like kind of succumb to this. Like maybe Donnie wasn't crazy.
Right. And we're pretty much seeing that he's not, because now he's basically getting intel while he's in
Bro,
the.
he was putting the smoke on DA Hale,
Yeah,
dude.
that's what I was about to say. Like
I was
he
like, damn, son. I was like, dude, skinny Donnie is crazy.
yeah, like he pretty much broke it down. He was like, "Oh, the reason why you're miserable and like this, and
He said, you're just a big old crybaby, bro.
yeah, like a mutant killed like your family, so
Yeah, he's like, so you're gonna take it down on the rest of us.
yeah, like that's a
Hmm.
terrible loss, and I'm sorry, but
Hmm. Sounds quite accurate these days.
yeah, and he's like, but you shouldn't have killed him because what did that do? Like you're still,
Yeah, it's like you're still mad, you still crying your pillow, basically. Oh
yeah,
my
like
God, dang, bro. Like, give him a break. Like
yeah,
he's already like barely 4.5 feet tall. Like, give him a rest, dude.
yeah. So so like even like the like the his security's basically like that rattled him. Like, oh damn, that rattled him.
Yeah.
So and then also seeing like April.
Yeah, with all the other rats still.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I'm like, dang. I'm really interested to see where that's like what's gonna be the deal with that.
yeah. And like basically I
Um,
thought this was like such a cool like the coolest
I was literally just about to ask you, like,
dude.
I liked how it was such like a follow up to that first issue.
Yeah,
So good, dude. I
yeah,
love it. And I really like how like most of the issue after that, he's still got the glasses on. So when he's like pushing that cart,
yeah.
it's just his stupid smiling face with the glasses on in the background. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, dude. I love Mikey, and I love that we're seeing more of like because that's what I was afraid of. I love that like Japanese issue like so much where he was in Japan and it was like I
Yeah,
like
that was
this
fire.
Mikey. I like this Mikey. I hope he's so to finally see more of that. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. And basically like yeah, basically they all realize that like the Splinter like Mikey starts hearing crying. and
Mhm.
basically he realizes that it's like
Which is what they've all been hearing. They all thought it was Donnie. And then like even Raph is like, why do I still hear him crying? He's not even here. And he's like, oh shit.
yeah,
He's like, I get it. And
yeah,
then pages later, it's the same for Mikey because they're like there for a fight and then they get jumped by all the
yeah,
foot soldiers.
yeah,
So they're like getting beat down. That's when Mikey finally hears it at the end. I'm like, all right, here we go.
yeah.
So
So
it'll be cool like to see them come back together in a few issues and kick ass.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think we'll move on from this DA Hale stuff like within the next
Oh
like
yeah, because
issue 12?
I didn't think you saw, but like IDW announced that a Shredder series is coming
I did see that.
by Dan Waters.
No way.
Yeah,
God damn it, dude.
yeah, Shredder by Dan Waters, and I
Oh,
guess it's gonna
dude, he's about to
coincide
shred
with.
that book, dude.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's gonna be a dope. It's gonna be a dope book. So I'm definitely gonna
Dang.
be getting
Is it
that.
a miniseries?
I think it's ongoing the way it's looking. Look, it doesn't
I
say.
might have to read that, dude.
Yeah, I think it's gonna coincide with this, so it's gonna
Which would
be.
be sick, but also like, do you think it's like this is like a two arc thing and we move on from DA Hale and Casey's kind of back in the fray and we kind of just move on to a new era of Turtles after this whole like arc with them being separated now?
Could be, could be.
Or
I
do
mean,
you think we go on for like another arc or another year or so of this like kind of them finding their way back and then we kind of get into the meat of things? Because it seems like he's going kind of slow burn with all of this and setting up.
I think it's gonna get to a point where the Turtles beat down the DA so bad, and he's immune,
Yeah.
and then
We're just
he basically declares war on all of Mutant City,
okay. Then
and then like
I
it's
could see that
the
maybe being like the first three arcs. I don't know. I think to go 2 years straight with kind of like the same storyline and then be like and close to the end of that because it like realistically it'll
well,
be
what I think is gonna happen. I think the DA because the DA is working with the Foot Clan, and I think the
right.
Foot Clan's eventually gonna usurp.
Right, especially if Shredder comes back too.
Yeah, so I think that's basically what's gonna happen is the DA is gonna have
His
his
granddaughter's running the show and she's not really doing the best job right now.
right. I think that they're just gonna let him try to take down the Turtles, and then once that fails, they're probably gonna take.
Or what if it is setting up his like Shredder's return and the turtles aren't able to take out Hale and then Shredder comes in and kind of like because then it puts them on the back foot again, but in a different way. Like they don't like not only did they were they unable to stop Hale and they had to let the villain do it, but Shredder's now back.
Yeah.
So it's like two
Yeah,
pro it's like
maybe Hale gets that desperate that he needs Shredder to.
but then Shredder's like, nah, man, like this is not it. Like I could see Shredder doing that, like kind of realizing like what his clan has become, and he's just like sickened by it.
Yeah,
So he ends up murking Hale, and then he's like, "Oh, look, you couldn't solve the problem, but I did, and I'm back. So sucks for you guys."
right.
That could be cool.
Yeah. It just makes me wonder like what it also means what's gonna happen with Splinter because I feel like
Yeah.
all gonna have a spiritual connection to Splinter, like what's gonna
Well,
happen.
right. Do you think? Well, and that being said, because is Shredder dead?
Shredder should be dead.
Do you think this will be his return, and we'll see more spiritual stuff with him and Splinter in?
That's already happened in the beginning of this whole series
You
because
know what I mean? Like,
they're already reincarnated.
right? That's what I mean. Like, do you think we're gonna see like more of that?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
Okay.
maybe not because it seems like Jason Aaron's trying to stay away from
But
like,
if it's not Jason Aaron doing it, it's Dan Waters doing it in the Shredder book. You can circumvent that altogether, so Aaron's not
yeah,
having to touch that, but he still gets the benefit of having Shredder back.
yeah,
And whatever kind of stuff that he's been like brewing in the background, Dan can like apply and maybe push and be like, well, they are connected in this way, and that's why the spiritual stuff with Splinter's happening, and now Shredder's back, and it's a whole bunch of shit.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm excited either way because I just
I mean,
love.
this is the most investment I've ever had in Turtles, so I'm just here for the ride, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I
Hmm.
think Jason Aaron's doing a great job with the turtle dynamics of just being like, hey, like I have I have to bring them together to have them kick ass, like you know.
He's been back, dude. He's been back on it.
Hmm.
Aaron has like with this, with Absolute Superman.
It's like once he
Um,
got out of that Marvel contract, he was like, all right,
Bug
I'm
Wars
going,
is
man.
pretty fire too, man.
Yeah.
Bug Wars is cool. So
Yeah.
he's just cranking out good book after good book.
I
Right.
think he just was like getting burnt out over like at
I mean,
Marvel.
I'm sure like
I
having
mean,
his
I could feel
Marvel
it in his
editorial
Avengers.
is
I could
Marvel
feel it in
editorial.
his Avengers felt
Yeah.
like I have creative burnout because I've just been here for so long.
Yeah. I mean, he did like, oh, like, well, probably 100 issues of Avengers. Like, you know what I mean? Like he probably ran his run probably ran the same like the time of Hickman's.
Yeah.
So that's a big run.
Yeah.
And he was just coming off the back of his like in like 7 year Thor run,
Yeah.
8 year Thor run, you know? So like he was just going hard, hard, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know. I really don't like his Avengers, but it also
Yeah.
seems like maybe there was some editorial stuff that maybe played a role. I don't know.
Yeah, because we
Seems to
know the
be
whole
seems to be
Conan
the
situation, the
case
whole
over the
Conan
last X
situation
amount of years.
happened then. The whole Conan situation happened while he was
Yeah,
writing.
that too. Yeah, he was doing
So that
Conan. Crazy, crazy. But
yeah.
anything else you want to talk about? Any other books?
No, man. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like,
I read Death of the Silver Surfer.
how was that?
It was okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I
I
heard
I
it was
just need I need something more. It wasn't like the cover is sick,
that's a
dude.
beautiful cover,
It's
yeah.
incredible, and like that's really what I was like. All right, great cover. I'm gonna get
If
it.
I could get like a poster of that and frame it,
Oh, I know, dude. But
I,
yeah, the actual issue itself, it's just okay.
which sucks because Greg Pak is like,
Yes, dude. I don't know. Well, I need more, I think, but it was just okay. Like I wasn't like super impressed by it. It's pretty straightforward. Like
it
it's just like
it's
Norrin is
just
kind
one
of
of those things where it's like, hey, we're having Silver Surfer come out in a movie, so we need a book to go out with it.
yeah. I
That's it.
just
And Galactus.
yeah,
Galactus
like in
is
the last page reveal in that issue is that like Galactus is basically just like barren and dehydrated out in space.
like
So
yes.
nothing
But
new.
like Silver Surfer like abandoned his job at like finding planets.
Potentially, yeah. Like and now Galactus is just like stuck in space, like unfed, so he can't really move. But like the last page is literally Surfer just like rolling up on his like stiff body floating in space.
Well, doesn't that affect him and the Power Cosmic too? The Power Cosmic,
I
like
mean, if yes, but to my understanding, if Galactus isn't dead, he still has access to it.
yeah,
So, but here's the thing: is like Galactus has been starved on like a couple occasions, and my guy, dude, Beta Ray Bill is the one that does it most times, bro. Like he's just
yeah.
sick of his shit. Both his miniseries, Stormbreaker, and then like Saga of Beta Ray Bill, or about whatever those two books are called. Um, dude, both times he's like starving Galactus out from planets, like racing him from planet to planet, and whoever the Herald is at the time, he's just whooping ass. And
Yeah.
then like basically starving Galactus and getting all the people to safety before he can feed on it. And he's like, I think one of them, he gets everybody off the planet and then destroys the planet. And he's like, basically, kiss my ass,
Oh dang.
dude. And like, dude, that's why Bill's my guy, bro. He's always punching up. Like
Yeah.
any chance he gets, like he's beating Surtur's ass, he's fighting Galactus, like he's him, dude.
Yeah, dude. Love
So it's not new for Galactus to kind of be in that state, but it also like it kind of makes the Heralds pretty desperate because you don't know like what's going to happen, you know? So with Silver Surfer, maybe it's not so much something that kills him, but maybe it's Galactus dying and it is the death of the Silver Surfer and he just becomes Norrin again.
it. Right.
Because it would also play into why he's not around for Imperial.
Well,
Because
it
he was
just
there
sucks.
for Planet Hulk. He was there for some other, like a lot of other stuff. Like he's a big cosmic player. Like he was around for like Annihilation, all this stuff. So like to not have him there has to be a reason.
Well, it just sucks because it's only going to be like I think 4 issues, so
Yeah, it's five.
25% of it is just whatever.
Yeah, and like this, like the setup to all of it wasn't really that interesting. It was just him doing stuff on Earth. Like basically, like there's a war going on, and instead of like stopping just one side, he just dismantles all the weaponry on the battlefield and just takes off.
Oh,
So it's just like he's stopping wars, but he's not really doing it on like any particular way, like on any side. He's just like basically saving people's lives.
right.
So like he's doing all these things, but then like there's this particular agent. It's like some new like faction of government or secret evil entity that's trying to like get cosmic powers. And they send some agent I don't know. It's some chick that basically is like a really good, like she worked for Shield, she worked for Sword, she's really like good at her job, and they send her in some like armor suit to go fight Silver Surfer, and he beats her ass. Um, but then he saves her and takes her back to her house, and then yeah, it's whatever. The story itself is whatever, but the next issue, this chick is going to go after Scar because the company she works for is deemed Silver Surfer too powerful for her, so they have to like go a step down, and she has to go after Scar, Hulk's son. So see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, it's just weird because Jonathan Hickman is just playing on like that whole thing with Planet Hulk and Hulk's son, and now it's
Yeah, because Carol
Loki.
Hollow died, but then you like, where is Scar? You know what I
But it
mean? Like,
makes sense. It makes sense for Greg Pak to do it because he did the whole Planet Hulk thing to tie.
right. I mean, like he's gonna introduce the characters that he's familiar with and used in the past, which is fine. But also, like, I'm not really sold on this book yet. The
Yeah.
covers are all sick, and I'll keep buying for the covers, but the story itself is just it's okay for right now.
Yeah, if it picks up, maybe I'll buy it by the trade when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, at least you'll get that sick cover on the front of the trade.
Yeah. So
That'll
if
be
it
sweet.
comes to worse, then it's good if it turns around. But I don't know. For some reason, I read like the whole solicitation, and for some reason, I was like, this isn't.
We'll see what happens,
Pretty
dude.
much knew it was one of those like movie gimmick books. Like the movie's coming out, so
Yeah,
we pump
and
this
well,
up.
like, and I read the last two, well, three Silver Surfer books. Like there was Silver Surfer Ghostlight.
I did get all of those.
That's a good series, dude. I
That was
really like
good.
that. But
Yeah.
then you have Silver Surfer Legacy or Rebirth, no, Silver Surfer Rebirth,
Hmm. I
which
did.
is like the Ron Lim, Ron Mars era.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just a story like in that era, this classic Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
And then there's a sequel, and it kind of
Wait, I
plays
do think I did get that one. I did get that one.
Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy. And that one includes like some more time travel stuff, and you've got Silver Surfer Black. He comes in and they fight. It adds like new like the first series is literally just them revisiting like that era of when they told the stories with that character. But then Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy brings in like newer, more modern elements of the Silver Surfer's mythos and like kind of makes them collide with the past. It's
Yeah.
cool. I like it. I think it's a good book. 10 issues of just like classic Silver Surfer with some modern elements thrown in is
Yeah.
cool. Good time. But I don't know. We'll see how this one goes. It's just I'm
Because
not
it's
sold.
just another I don't know. I am kind of burnt out of those like Marvel Death of books also at this point.
Yeah, I mean the only one that I really enjoyed the death of was Doctor Strange
Yeah.
because there was a lot of sick ass characters in that book that showed up. Like, I mean, there were a bunch of new villains that showed up and they were tight, and then it was the start of Jed McKay's Doctor Strange, and that whole fucking run is tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll keep reading it until I'm over it.
Yeah. Well, keep me updated on that then.
I got you, bro. What's another book I thought? Yeah, whatever. We got through a lot,
Yeah.
but that's about all I've got, you guys. I'm
Yep.
about topped out for the day.
All
So
right, guys.
peace out. We'll catch you again next time.
Later on, guys. Stay safe out there.